Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matthew Fish. Joining me is the spoofing second place champion himself, Jake Swan Tiberian. You know, to test your witness, Jake, how many coins are there here?
None.
No, there's a coin. What? This is why you're second place, Jake.
I have
Come
no
on,
idea.
you need to be good at this. That's why you came second. Come on.
I hate this. I'm not telling anyone anything I do on the weekend anymore.
That's actually a very smart idea. But we're
It
about to
is.
get to the second game. Legacy taking on Sin. The first match was an absolute whitewash going in Legacy's favour.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, we may as well talk about spoofing because there wasn't much to talk about in League of Legends. Legacy just came on and absolutely smacked them around a little bit.
Yeah, one team picked up the coin, the other didn't.
Yeah, exactly right. I think that Sin draft was fine. Like, I don't think there was anything wrong there. I think they just absolutely misplayed the early game. And when you do that and you let the best AD carry in the league get, like, what, 3 early kills or whatever the heck Lost had, you're going to be in for a hard time. So I'm really looking for FBI and Rogue to clean that up. You need to come out of laning phase at least even, if not ahead of this Legacy bottom lane.
Because they've looked like one of the strongest bottom lanes in the league.
Hey, before this game, I am so lucky because I was going to be like, this game will revolve around bottom lane. That's why I think Sin's going to win. And then all of a sudden, like, it goes absolutely wrong. So I never said that. That man has to be able to get down into bottom lane if they continue to ban away Talia, because someone has to be able to sway this.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't see too much from Juves in the other game, that match. He was just farming with
We saw
Carbon.
nothing.
And
He was 2 levels behind Carbon.
yeah,
he was
looked
level
fine.
5 to 7.
He looked fine till level 5, and then Karma just got ahead in terms of farm because the rest of the map was doing fine for Legacy. He didn't have to be anywhere.
Yeah, Carbon just off the push out of Karma, who of course takes teleport as well as the ability to just spam abilities at the wave, was just able to grab chickens off him like 3 times in a row, I think. So that the first one is kind of the cheeky takeaway, and then the second and third ones really start to hurt as the Raptor camp is leveling up. So I think that Carbon had a fantastic read on it when he was able to invade around mid lane, and unfortunately Juves didn't have time in the camps.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we have a slight delay before we get into Champion Select here, but as we get into this game, we also saw Dokla.
That's not happy faces on the Sim
No.
Gaming lineup.
They're
They were
upset.
They were singing before the game.
They were.
Obviously, the wall is between us, and this is a soundproof wall, or so I'm told. But we could hear them singing. That is definitely a fact. We 100% could hear them singing. At the same time, Legacy look pretty happy now. They've obviously eaten their muscle meals this morning, come in with a little bit more energy, and yeah, they certainly looked pretty good.
Yeah, Soulstrike was very talkative during Picks and Men's. Normally he just stands back, points around, but this time he was up in the face of Claire and Cupcake, telling them exactly what they need to do, but seeing serious faces across the board. They want a win here.
They hate losing. I mean, obviously that goes without saying. Every pro team hates losing. But you can see that when you have a chance to dodge 2 best-of-5s, Fish, you know, if you come second, you don't have to play an extra 10 games if you're Sin Gaming. That is massive, and unfortunately for them, they just dropped the ball.
We've already seen Sin, you know, last split. They went through that gauntlet run, made it all the way to the game that would take them to the grand finals. Every single match went to 5 games, and it was this team, Legacy, that were able to deny them their chance of heading into that grand finals, thanks to big performances out of Carbon in a couple of games to stop Sin from ending a match.
Yep.
And they would definitely like to start at a better spot coming into the gauntlet this time around. Sin think they're a top 3 team. They think the top 3 teams are Legacy, Direwolves, and Sin. Not even the Chiefs.
I mean, they could still be right? Because, I mean, maybe Chiefs are just worse than both these teams.
Maybe they're completely wrong.
If that was Legacy versus Chiefs, maybe that's a like 24-minute victory, and Legacy, I mean, Sin at least got 4 kills or something in the game. Maybe Chiefs get none.
And I mean, potentially tomorrow, Chiefs could end up back on top of the table with a 2-0 over the Direwolves, but let's get straight back into this match.
Not if Legacy 2-0. If Legacy 2-0, there are no ways that Chiefs can win this split.
Oof. Devastating. But let's see if Legacy can pick up the 2-0. Already picking up their first
Chiefs
champion.
Fish. Devastating.
It would
If
be.
Legacy get the 2-0, you are devastated.
I mean, come on. Jush leaves Immortals. They're now a good team. Comes back and they can't pick up a first-place victory here. Oof, that would be heartbreaking. But let's get straight to this draft, Spawn. They picked quite a few champions already. Callista and Gragas for the side of Sin. Elise was left up, and that's locked in straight away for Legacy. The bans were Talia, Thresh, as well as Rakan. Double support ban from Legacy with Maokai, Braum, and Jarvan taken away.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the Rakan is the linchpin of both the Callista Rakan as well as the Xayah Rakan lane, so just get him off the board if you're not going to first pick him. Elise being first picked is rather interesting. We've seen it played to great effect by the Direwolves, but however, it does put a little bit of a clock on your match unless you have some good scaling around that Fish.
And with the double support ban, Sin do go back to the Gragas priority. Now we could be locked in for Jews, most likely, unless Dokla gets a good matchup top side of the map against Tally.
Yep.
Looking for maybe a Jax pick even to go up against that.
Ooh.
Janna's been locked in for Cupcake with Xayah as the AD carry of choice.
That's some big disengage already coming out. I mean, Elise Cocoon running backwards is much easier to hit. Nados as well as, ultis going everywhere out of the Janna. Poke comp is generally good against Janna.
And it will be Jace that gets locked in here for Sin. Could be either Dokla or Ryoma's champion.
Probably going to be Dokla's.
Which is strange because there are a lot of teams that they have the Jace player in one of these lanes, so they don't really flex it.
Yep.
I mean, for Sin, it's going to be Dokla. If you saw the Die Wars, you'd have to think that's Fantix's champion.
Chippies does play it.
He does.
I think he's got 3 games on it this split or something like that. I reckon Chippies has played it more than Fantix has.
I mean, even for Son of Legacy, you would say that that is a Claire champion.
Oh,
Not so much
100%. I don't think Tally is a Jace player. I actually think that Fantix is the best Jace on the server still, but Chippies just plays it more.
Hopefully he gets to pick up a game.
Riot Benji is upset about that. The guy that's stuck in like Bronze 3 is upset that I didn't call him the best Jace on the server.
Is he Bronze 3?
I don't have any idea. He's probably unranked fish.
No, he's a lot higher rate than that. Give him some credit, Swan.
No.
Meanwhile, Cannon does get locked in for Sin
Kalista Cannon.
as their next pick. Yep, could be a support pick.
No, is support pick.
Is.
Yep, 100%. Blitzcrank, Alistar gone. Kalista Cannon will be the pickup.
And that's with Renekton as well as Camille banned out by Sin. So targeting Tally's champion pool quite heavy, but Gnar still left up.
Yeah.
I mean, are they happy with the Jace matchup?
Yeah, Jason Tanara is very good for Jace, so I don't think that will be a top lane Gnar coming through. I mean, they could flex the Armored Titan. Kled is also another choice.
But we get Galio mid for Legacy with Kled picked up for Tally top side.
I wonder if Claire plays Silly Suit Galio or whether he actually plays, the Army Man.
Silly Suit.
Debonair, is that what it's called?
I think that's a great skin.
I
Why is it
hate
Silly
that
Suit?
skin.
Oof.
Cassiopeia has a good matchup into it. However, with the mana cost nerfs, generally can't kill him. Can force him really low, but takes a little bit extra to kill him.
And it doesn't affect her so much after first back. When she gets the tier,
Nope.
gets a couple of mana items, she's fine.
It's just a
mana
1 to
cost
4
is
stage.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
And that was what was really oppressive, especially with people like Swiffer bullying people out.
Cassiopeia used to walk at you level 1 and just E you. Didn't he used to even auto attack?
Oh, disgusting. It will be cleanse picked up by Roma going into this matchup. Galio does okay into majors. Let's see if Cass can give him a hard
Cassiopeia
time.
beats Galio. I mean, that's the way it should go.
He's
he gets
already
bullied
made
out
of stone.
pretty heavily. Double TP once again being picked up by Legacy. With how much priority is on the bottom lane, I think we're going to see a lot of double TP fish coming out. I actually think we might even see some cheeky globals being run around Summoner's Rift that we haven't seen in a while.
I mean, which is curious because we see double TP a lot when we have control majors, and we're kind of rotating away from control majors. So to speak.
The first time double TP came back in, you'll remember this, was when the LPL was playing very heavily around bottom lane. And LGD, their mid laner Godvi back then, who has now since become a meme, but at that stage was a good mid laner, was playing Diana and Echo pretty much exclusively with double TP. And then they would just get 4 people into Imps lane, 5 people into Imps lane, like get everyone down there, just bring all 10 people, and they would just win a team fight on bot lane and win the game. And then all of a sudden everyone was like, well, we need to bring TPs as well. To the point where EDG in one game ran TP on their Jace AD carry, which I would not recommend. 3 TPs is maybe 1 TP too many. However, that was an insane meta, and I think we're heading in that direction. I think that all of this is turning into bot lane focus.
Yeah, well, hopefully not, because 80 carries in 2017 is already a big meme. They've gone full circle. They
Hey,
went from
80
the most
carries in 20,
underpowered-
yeah, they are broken at the moment. 80 carry players, like look at the ladder. Mid laners and 80 carries at the moment are absolutely everywhere on high elo.
I mean, I think it was Juves that said on Twitter that currently solo queue is decided by if you have an 80 carry who can right click.
Yep.
That's how games are won at the moment in high elo solo queue. But for now, let's actually check in with Solstrix, the coach for Legacy, who is standing by with Serian.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with Solstrix from Legacy. Congratulations on the first game win. Last game, your bot lane popped off on Xayah and Rakan, but this game you banned Rakan and opted for the Janna instead. Can you talk us through that process?
So we only have one. We only get the first pick, and they get the 2 picks. So we can't really get Xayah Rakan together. And Rogue's a fantastic Rakan player, and we don't want him to play Rakan like Cupcake did last game.
Do you know if Zaya will be building a Relic Shield first?
Yeah, I think so.
I wanted to quickly talk to you about the new patch. Obviously, 7.16's come out. How has this affected your drafting for this series?
So I consider Janna like a carry role right now because as soon as she has the Ardent, she's like the Ardent's just going to have massive power spike on the ADC. So expect Cupcake have some CS lead at bot lane.
Well, thanks for talking to us today, Soulstrikes, and best of luck with the series.
All right, cheers.
Well, there you go. That was a very bot lane focused interview, and it was a bot lane focused match. So let's kick it off there, really. The Relic Shield already picked up by Lost and Cupcake, so they're really trying to excel this Ardent Sensor. No potions as well for Cupcakes. Like, I'm not wasting money.
Yeah, you can see that Rejuve being picked up. I want to see if he does snipe some creeps away from Lost. I don't think that's a good tactic, but I think that having the Ardent Sensor certainly is the Relic Shield is certainly a good tactic. Has been forced off the wave level 1, however.
As soon as Lost W expires, FBI and Rogue just step up.
Yep, exactly right. You can see that Rogue's very comfortable, just walking forward. However, this means that, junglers are starting top side of the map. 80 carries and supports are starting on the wave. They're getting the push whenever they want it. But it is 1 creep to 6 currently in the bottom lane. So FBI and Rogue certainly looking a little bit more comfortable now, Fish.
Certainly do. I mean, you just have to remember, Lost has to only proc his Relic Shield to snowball Cupcake, so to speak. Cupcake just has to pick up the gold, so even if Lost falls behind in CS, doesn't necessarily mean Cupcake is falling behind in gold. He'll still be accelerated, but it's never good to fall behind in the bottom lane.
Nope, certainly is not. It's very hard to dig yourself out of these holes. You can see that they pick up all of it, so they'll only be 2 creeps down, which is very, very good. See whether the race for the jungler is getting down here also occurs. You really don't want to fight. But he does dodge out on the ward, so Carbon is going to be behind them and will beat Juves there.
Juves is making his way down, does have Blast Cone to work with, but it will be Carbon that gets in first. Jumping on top, Cocoon straight away, nails FBI. He's forced to flash and everyone piles on in. Tornado comes out, big body bop from Juves, takes away first blood, and now he's hunting down Lost as well. 1 more attack should be able to kill him. Rogue is throwing shurikens into his face, and Lost might just get out. No, he doesn't. The fat man jumps back in, gets the 2nd kill for Sin.
Yeah, big play out of Juves there to be able to swing that gank. However, they need to be able to shove this into Turret Fish, because if they cannot, then it will be frozen and FBI will lose a ton of golden experience. You can see that Cupcake is trying to stop it from coming in. Juves will escort the creep wave, so that's a good thing. Maybe not, because now maybe, the Janna's going to be able to get the Ardent Sensor a little bit earlier. But still, first blood and a kill going over to Juves, whereas a kill went to Lost. And Juves now has to get busy on Summoner's Rift.
All Summoner spells burnt by Legacy's bottom lane there. Sin still keep flash on Rogue, but Juves burnt his own for the big initiation.
Yep.
And some of the best games Juves have had this entire year have been on Gragas. Even going back to Gauntlet run against Chiefs last year. He looked his best when he was on the Gragas jungle.
Yep. Certainly did, Fish. You can see that Ryoma goes for the Doran's Ring. We used to see Corrupting Pot start exclusively on Cassiopeia. Ever since the mana changes went in, I think Doran's is a much better start.
I mean, she gains mana effectively if she ever kills a creep
with her E.
Yep, because that refunds the mana cost, and Doran's Ring procs, giving you some mana. Which is nice to have. She's a hyper version of Annie.
Here we go. Dokla in some trouble, needs to flash here.
Bear trap on the rope. Does get broken by the flash.
Yep.
Carbon's still level 3, running around with Hunter's Machete and a Dark Seal.
Yep.
By the way, Rogue's going to get some chip damage onto Cupcake and Lost. Good return, though.
Great return coming out of Lost. Puts a lot of feathers into him. You can see just got maximum feathers.
And is there a reason why we don't see FBI and Rogue freezing this lane? Because Lost can't step up at the moment, but they're still pushing it in quite heavy.
I mean, the reason he probably can't step up is because it's not frozen. So he's just waiting for creeps to come to him. As you can see, he missed 1. So it's not really that big of a deal. Double Fairy Charms picked up. Juves has found Carbon. Going to look to steal away a camp, although can't really because Galio is a lot closer to support than what the Cassiopeia is.
Juves already has his Balmy Cinder picked up. Looking to complete that into his Cinderhawk soon. Tier complete for Ryoma. Does go back and gets a Dark Seal for himself. Seems like he's waiting for a bit more money to pick up a potion.
Yeah, he wanted a refillable pot, because when you buy the rejuvenation bead, they're right next to each other. I have 100% walked out of base with Rejuve B before.
I'm pretty sure that's the reason why the splash icon for the pot was changed as well. That was the exact patch note. Made it so that it doesn't look like that similar green item.
Yep.
But FBI and Rogue now having a much better game here in the bottom lane. Lost gets ignited. He might fall. Does. Rogue gets the kill. And Sin are doing tremendously well in this bottom lane.
They certainly are. They just have so much pressure. And you can see that time and time again, Legacy are trying to defend this turret. Cupcake and Carbon are both very low and squishy, so they need to back away Fish. Otherwise, they will get dove.
Oh,
Juve still wants him.
There's the repel from Carbon. Juve does miss the barrel, though.
He didn't just miss the barrel. He missed everything. So, unfortunate.
So Legacy will step back up. Sin have done their job, though, which is denied Lost all the CS. It's 26 CS to 45. I don't care if Cupcake's going to get his Ardent Sensor first. Zaya's going to be so far behind.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be. Still has a kill, but 3 assists going over to FBI is certainly a big deal as well.
His first item is Berserk Greaves. He doesn't care about anyone right now. FBI 400 gold lead over Lost. And Rogue is doing fine as a support. He's in fact ahead of Cupcake, who should be accelerated in terms of gold.
Yeah, certainly should be, especially given the fact that he's had all of... Oh, this is strange out of Juves.
Yeah, they've caught him out. Carbon low on mana, and Roma has collapsed. Claire doesn't get much damage down. The Gragas actually taking nothing during that exchange, and Roma's now trying to turn around and dish out damage himself. The teleport from behind coming out of Tally, looking to jump on top of Juves. Here comes Galio, flash forward from Carbon. Roma uses the cleanse to get out. Juves somehow still alive. Claire will get dismounted through his ultimate. They turn onto the Snake Lady, petrifies one. Carbon will fall to Rogue, but he may sacrifice his life for this one. Good stun coming out of the cannon. Tally still wants to go back in, but it's just a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, and Dokla didn't TP. I mean, he had a lot of time to be able to get down there. Also had some very good wards. However, stays top lane, pushes this wave into the turret, and he's going to get a big CS lead off it. Tally only got himself an assist there, Fish, so should work out okay for Dokla. Meanwhile, of course, a kill going over to Lost helps out what Legacy are trying to accomplish in this bottom lane.
Certainly does. Dokla's going to be further ahead than Tally now as well, with Serrated Dirk already picked up in a slight CS lead. Curious to see where Dokla's going to use his teleport now that Tally's is down. Claire still has his own. It's one of the benefits of double TP. You can use them quite sparingly, so to speak.
Quite liberally, you mean?
Yeah, quite liberally.
Not sparingly, that would be the opposite. Yeah, no, that's all right.
English is hard.
We're all here for you, Fitz. But that's all the creep wave picked up underneath the turret, so it's only 14 CS now, Fish. It was about 20.
And with 2 kills, Lost is going to be happy.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely fine. However, the chip damage onto the turret will start becoming very relevant. So we do need to keep an eye on that. Tally also, at this stage of the game, is just more annoying than what Dokla is. Dokla, when he gets his Dustblade of Drakthar, or whatever the heck that item's called, I still hate the name of that item, is going to be able to put out a lot of surprising damage, ducking into Fog of War. However, at this stage of the game, Tally's ability to mount, remount, the big shield he gets off the ultimate, are all tools that Jace can't really deal with.
Rogue slowly chipping away at this turret. Carbon looking for a gank in the mid lane. Flash
Great
taunt. Cocoon lands as well. Ryoma is in so much trouble. Here comes Juve. So the repel comes out. Legacy are in trouble all across the map. Claire's already dead in the mid lane. Carbon lives with next to no health. And somehow Dokla's dismounted Tally topside too.
Yeah, exactly right. You could see that that was a little bit of an ultimate coming out of Tally, it looked like. Ryoma turns around that play, and now Tally has to run away.
Yeah, book it, you little lizard man. Get the heck out of that lane, because Juves is coming in to try and snipe you off. He might be able to do so as well if he's...
Nah, he's going to keep running.
No flash available for Juves. He does body slam into the brush, checks for it, not there. Instead, Sin should take first turret top lane.
Yeah, they certainly should, and this is going to put Dokla very far ahead. I would be surprised if Juves took gold here, because Dokla certainly needs it. He's 20 CS up and looking very good. Actually, they took first turret bottom lane. So, you know, they're going to grab 2 turrets across Summoner's Rift, Fish. And they're going to be up 4,000 gold.
And now Roma's going for a 2-on-1. Does get taunted. Claire will get good damage down, but that's all the burst damage out of Legacy. They don't have any sustained damage, and this is what Roma wants to do. Turn around and twin fang them, forcing both Claire and Carbon out of his lane.
Yeah, and so many times now we've seen the fact that Ryoma is just able to turn and fight in this 2-on-1. and actually chunk at least one member out. It picked them up a kill a second ago, goes back, grabs himself a Catalyst. He's already got 3 stacks. Going to have a Rod of Ages about 14 minutes into this game if he wants it, Fish, which with the tier as well as double rings is a very accelerated Cassiopeia.
And Legacy just have not hit any of their item power spikes yet. Carbon has fallen incredibly far behind. Top side of Matt Dokler is up in CS. Bottom lane, no Ardent Sensor picked up yet. But this is a good news story for them. They do get an Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Carbon must be on a little bit of gold because otherwise, I mean, it's a completed Sindal. Yeah, he is. So there we go. He is 700 gold behind, but it's not all bad. Juice is going to face check. He's in trouble.
Down. Tornado as well as the root coming out from Zaya. Here comes the Armored Titan as well. Exhaust even being used to pick up this kill. Disengage as well. Smite though keeps Juice alive. And Legacy might turn this one around. Ultimate from Rogue forces Lost to flash away. And the stars are just lining up for Sin at this point in the game.
Yeah, but that was them not wanting to use any abilities to kill Juves. I mean, Lost could have ulted straight away and ripped the feathers back. There could have been so many other things that they did to chunk Juves out. Lost did a very good thing by walking on top of the Gragas and making sure, you know, he wasn't able to body slam away. But they could have definitely committed harder there, Fish, and picked up a kill. Instead, they wanted to get out without using anything really, and that does bite them because that was a free kill.
Yeah, just promoting the 600 IQ brand for Juves there. Claire's still struggling in this mid lane. 20 CS down. Cassiopeia is snowballing ahead, and every time Carbon throws himself into this mid lane, he risks dying.
Yep, certainly does. We saw Faker play Cassiopeia the other day into Syndra. The reason I bring it up is he went Abyssal Mask. We're going to get Rod of Ages build this game. But I'll be interested to see whether anyone does that. He played it into, yeah, as I said, Syndra, so it was a counter pick through the item choice. People used to think Cassio couldn't beat Syndra because the stun would just be too long. Obviously, you can't build Nerf treads on Cassiopeia. Just one of those things, too.
Let's see if he does end up picking up.
Cupcake just taxes a whole wave, yeah.
He needs that Ardent Sensor. Sin, meanwhile, set up on Rift Herald. They do have Kalista, which we pointed out last match should have been how they picked up Rift Herald, but this time they actually send FBI over, and they will rip the spears out to pick up that objective.
Yeah, there you go. About 700 damage. Had a couple of spears in there, Fish. You can see Dokler has rotated towards bottom lane for that to be able to happen, and he's going to one-shot Carbon.
Carbon's going to try and blast Cone out. Does he get out? He does not. Knocks the Spider through the wall and gets a solo kill on the captain of Legacy.
Yeah. That's what Jace does when he builds full lethality, and now they're going to be able to push down mid lane. This might be actually double turret, because there is no wave clear here. They sent Tally into Dokler's lane as well, and unfortunately for Claire, he's just stuck all alone.
Let's see what's going to happen. Claire's trying to defend this one. Rift Herald helping out with the push. We'll get another charge here, and Sin will use that to get some more chip damage in this turret. Might not be able to get it straight away, but they should be able to at least take it down low. Legacy do trade and take down their first turret of the match in the bottom lane. This turret at half health already. Claire can't step on to defend without any more mana.
Okay, so they will defend. So that is a turret for a turret, not the worst trade for Legacy if you are behind. However, Carbon did die, and a lot more chip damage went down on the other structures. But they hold themselves within 4,000 gold. Still a huge lead right now for Sin Gaming. And these two games have been complete opposites of each other.
Well, Ardent Sensor has finally been complete for Cupcake, but it's only in Essence Reaver complete for Lost at the moment. And Carbon, now that he's level 8, he's died 3 times. This is a champion that does not want to be put in this situation. So far behind 14 minutes in.
Yeah, exactly right. In fact, generally we see, you know, Moby boots or Sork boots rushes coming out of Elise just because she has to have so much impact on someone as Rift Fish. Hasn't happened yet for the Captain of Legacy. However, we also saw Spooks, I think, last week play Elise, and I think he did like the 3rd most damage in the game. So you can still do late game damage with her. You just have to be able to team fight incredibly well.
You become an assassin, basically. If you hit that cocoon and you get your full combo off, great, you can die. Repel keeps you alive a little bit longer, but Carbon has to do something because the other game has not been great for Legacy so far.
They give blue buff to Dokler. This is smart. Obviously, double mana item picked up for Ryoma, as well as a lost chapter. Means that he's not going to run out of mana anytime soon, but a tierless Jace will. So give it to arguably the strongest member on Summoner's Rift right now. I like it.
He's had back-to-back good games as well, Dokler. Made a big mistake in game number 1. but up until that time, he looked fine topside against Kali.
Also, Tommy had just taken Legacy's blue buff, so, you know, not as good as I was saying, but still pretty cool. You can see FBI as well as Juves and Dokla all rotating over for this buff now. I don't know if Carbon can face check it.
Carbon jumping in, does get the Galio ultimate, but he's almost dead. Repels back down. Claire wants to jump in, but this is not a fight you want to take if you're Legacy.
I mean, they got flash for flash. They used Claire's ulti, but meanwhile, Tommy's taking a turret.
So Sinner just delaying the backs, so to speak, trying to contest for jungle camps. Juves is able to get half away from Carbon.
Oh, look at how much that barrel does to Carbon. That's a full tank Gragas.
Yeah,
And Carbon still can't really step up and do anything.
Oh, jumps on top of Carbon. Is this a solo kill? Captain on Captain. Repel does come out. Rogue jumps in. Will take down the Spider himself. Claire needs to uppercut his way back out. Lost needs to be careful as well. Throws out his own ultimate to go invulnerable. And Ryoma is split pushing on the Snake Lady. She's knocking on the door of the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, exactly right. There's nothing Legacy can really do right now. You can see a fantastic force coming out of Juves. Carbon just stuck around for too long. He doesn't really know what stage the game is at, and he's incredibly weak.
Yeah.
And 2 inhibitor turrets looking to be sieged right now, Fish.
Yeah, Sin's manager, Sebi, must have told them they can go to the Cat Cafe if they can finish under 20 minutes. This time, Sin are looking to try and do just that, because 17 minutes into the game, and Legacy are stuck inside their base, 6,000 gold down.
I'm not a fan of Cat Cafe. I just want to stop you right there and let you know that I'm not a massive fan of that.
I'm allergic to cats, so I don't blame you.
No, I like cats. I'm just saying
Do
that
not like cats.
I don't like the idea of going to a cafe to hang out with cats.
Why is that? If you like cats, I don't
I
see
mean-
where's the downside.
It's weird.
So dog cafe, is that okay?
No,
Iguana cafe? Alpaca cafe?
I don't necessarily like to have food or drink prepared anywhere near animals.
Fair enough.
Like, do the cats jump all over the tables and stuff? Because if they do, like,
Some places, yes.
I don't think that's really hygienic.
True. But Sin really wants to go.
I mean, that's
We're watching
fantastic.
their social media. They really want to go to the Cat Cafe. They were very angry with FBI.
Why? What did FBI do?
He was the reason why they couldn't finish in under 22 minutes, because he tried to farm more kills instead of hitting the Nexus.
Unfortunate. Come on, Victor. Lift your game.
But so far in this match, Sin have been doing fantastic against Legacy. Both games so far have been one-sided affairs, and from the looks of things, it should come down to game number 3. But Legacy could try and find a way back into this game, but I just don't see where they can.
I mean, they have to look for big team fights, right? You can see in the top lane, full item leave right now for Dokla. Mid lane, exactly the same for Ryoma. Across the board, really. Sin are the stronger team right now, so a little bit of stalling, Fish, and then just hope that you're able to get that big 5-on-5 team fight where the Galio ult as well as the Kled charge is enough to keep Lost safe and it can really take over, because otherwise it's just not going to happen.
And was this team composition put together to put all the eggs in a Lost basket? Because that's a defensive mid laner.
Defensive support.
Defensive support, but they have an aggressive jungler.
Yeah, I mean, that's just for some early game presence, right? I don't think they had the best pushing lanes, but that doesn't really hurt. At least she can get in behind people and do enough damage that she is a legitimate solo threat at the early stage of the game. Cupcake, a little bit in danger. Claire as well. He'll just walk out.
Goes through close to spots him out inside the bush, and Sin take control of blue buff. Looking to give another one over to Ryoma.
However, 5 members are very close for Legacy, whereas Dokla is still bottom lane.
He's got a big minion wave as well that he's about to push in towards the turret. Kled makes his way back down to defend against that, and Sin again push for more vision inside of Legacy's jungle.
Yep. And this is kind of what we saw in Sin versus Chiefs. Chiefs stormed out game 1, cheesed Sin Gaming, as Jules likes to say, and then Sin was able to bring it back in the next 2 games. And it looks like game 1, they weren't really expecting the aggression out of the bottom lane. However, they have made the correct adaptations, and everywhere across the Rift, Summoner's Rift right now is ahead for Sin.
And they're playing it nice and slow as well. No scrappy Sin ARAM, making sure they play the game slowly, look for the next
They've
objective.
got Cassiopeia, Callista. This Baron is the next objective. They've got so much secure Fish, as well as the DPS to be able to take it down. However, if you have Galio as well as Janna, there's always a potential for multiple resets within a team fight. And Feathers to just go everywhere in the Baron pit.
Well, let's see if it's enough. Sin is still creeping up around the mid lane.
Oh,
Lost
Lost,
steps
what are you doing?
forward, locks down Juice, but everyone
Here we
jumps on top
go.
of it. Good ultimate from Lost though. He's still alive and barely touched. Claire does jump into the fight. Another great route will come out and flash forward from Claire.
Charge.
Locks down 2. The charge does come out from Tally. He's on top of the AD carry himself, but Rogue stuns him up. There's the first reset from Jana, healing up the rest of the team, but Karma's jumped in. Will be the first casualty, and Sin have their eyes set towards Baron.
And Sin just read it like a book. I mean, everything kind of went right for Legacy there. They had the first big ultimate coming out of Claire, and they back away from the team fight. Then Jana got a fully channeled Monsoon. They back away again.
They're going for it though. They're teleporting back into this fight.
They can't get there in time.
Let's see what
Kalista's
they
going to
do.
rip the sticks out, potentially can look for the fight afterwards.
Juice gets outsmarted by the spears, but it will be picked up by Sin regardless. Dokla still... Wow! My goodness, that was one combo and Lost is almost dead.
Yeah, they need to back away now. Sin, as I said, they just played that beautifully, Fish. Hope we get to see the replay. And the DPS that come out of both Kalista as well as Cassiopeia will secure it. But Lost goes forward towards the brush, which was a little bit weird for me because it meant they have to burn so much to get out. And they did overcommit onto Rogue, who had the ult there. However, the re-engage here, 3 members charge, and they're able to get onto the back line again. But unfortunately, Carbon goes a little bit too deep here, where he maybe perhaps shouldn't have, and does fall down, which means with no jungler left alive, they're going to turn around, they're going to start up the Baron. And even with the TPs, it wasn't enough. 0, 5, and 2. Carbon, unfortunately, is having a less than ideal game on the Elise. And Sin Gaming just look like they've been able to reset.
It's not good for the Legacy lineup, but Sin would be happy with the reset here and going to Game 3. They are now the team that is confident.
Yeah,
in the
momentum.
series.
They are an emotional team still. I know that, you know, it's an overused meme, but they're young guys. You can hear them yell. They like to be in good spirits. They looked very focused before this game. However, Sin are a team that rides emotional highs well, Fish.
Which makes them a hard team to break, because every time they fall down, they're like, okay, we have to pull together and win this next match, boosting them up heading into the next game. We saw that throughout Gauntlet when they went to Game 5 over and over and over again, and when they win, they just look even stronger going into the next match.
And if anything, Dokla looks stronger than Flares at the moment. I mean, if I could have last split Flares in the Gauntlet or Dokla right now, I'd probably take Dokla because, once again, he's 2 levels up. He's rotating around Summoner's Rift. He looks very, very good. Has a diverse champion pool, can play tanks as well as the carries. And the idea today is obviously that he plays carries and he's doing a very good job of it.
Which is night and day, because if you gave me that option before Rift Rivals, I would have taken Flares.
Yeah.
But since Rift Rivals, Sin have looked like a completely different team. And again, they've been very confident enough to say that they are one of the top 3 teams in the OPL, not even the Chiefs, they think. And they're looking to try and solidify that statement in this best of 3 against Legacy, taking down one of the top 3 teams at the moment and denying them a chance to head into the grand finals. That's a charge
Charge goes in off
top lane.
yeah. Dokla has just duped them and he's going to one-shot him.
Smacks Carbon in the face, gets about a quarter of his health, flashes away from the bear trap on the rope, turns around, but that gives Sin enough time to pick up an inhibitor for themselves.
Yeah, really nicely played. See whether they can stop any of the ports here. Flashes forward.
Lost going in, Ryoma just turns around. Miasma as well as the Petrifying Gaze will stop Legacy from advancing, and that's Summon the Spell burnt for an ultimate. Meanwhile, Dokla going toe-to-toe against Tally should get taken down here, a little bit overextended.
Yeah, it certainly is. Tally picks that one up. You can see Dokla head on hands, not happy with himself. However, they do pick themselves up the Infernal Dragon. They got the bottom inhibitor. He shouldn't be that upset because Sin at the moment are flying.
They certainly are. Righteous Glory is already picked up by Rogue as well on his cannon support. Now QSS complete for FBI. More items picked up across the board with the Knight's Vow for Juice too.
I mean, not to mention the fact that 3 completed items on the Cassiopeia versus 1.5 on the Galio. ATCS up. Ryoma is a 100% carry threat right now. And Claire, unfortunately, is a little bit irrelevant outside of the ultimate.
He is a CC bot / protect the Lost Galio. Lost does have a couple of items more than anyone on his team. In fact, he's fairly even with FBI.
Also, the fact that there's no real tank. So, you know, potentially he can do some damage to the back line if he doesn't get blown up. If they're able to keep him safe somehow, Fish.
Well, as we mentioned, he does have Galio and Jana to protect him, get the resets he wants. Cupcake's going towards the Mikhail's Crucible next as well to keep him alive longer.
Nice big heal going to come out, as well as the ability to disregard some of the CC if they're on point.
Sin are just slowly pushing up their advantage here. They have Dokla mid lane now, trying to siege up mid lane turret.
But Mikhail's is finished, and there is no Baron up and available.
Yep.
That Infernal Drake only equalized to Legacy, so that early Infernal Drake is now even more crucially important.
And Sin now looking to push for this turret, already getting good damage on towards it. The rest of Legacy are collapsing, and Tally charges in. He wants this team fight, jumps into the back lines, but FBI kites him around. Rogue immediately jumps in for a massive stun, and Dokla almost single-handedly deletes the entire team. 3 members get gazed by the miasma coming out of the Cassiopeia. Claire will fall as well. That's 3 kills picked up by Sin. They're looking to try and end this game.
Yeah, they certainly are. What a team fight out of Sin Gaming. I mean, they made it look so easy. Dokla came in, and with one Shock Blast combo, destroyed 3 members, Fish, and they're just going to push this one up.
And they're trying to jump on top of Cupcake as well. Dokla wants to solo out more members of the side of Legacy. First Nexus turret is going to fall. 9 seconds on Carbon. Legacy can try to put up the last stand. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do so. Second one does fall. Tally trying to get into backlines. Good damage on Rogue. None returned just yet. But with FBI and Dokla hitting the Nexus, this should be game 2 falling to Sid. They tie up the series and take us to the final match to decide this game.
I mean, 2 games so far, Fish, and honestly, 2 very stompy performances. Game 1, Legacy came in. Their bottom lane absolutely destroyed that man on your screen. However, this time around, a better performance. The Kalista Kennen lane, something that we saw out of the Abyss Esports duo. Now, coming up trumps for the Sin Gaming lineup, and we'll see whether this Game 3 is, is it a red side thing? Is it a momentum thing? What exactly is happening? Carbon did not have a good performance.
No, he did not.
Neither did Claire, honestly. In fact, actually, let's throw it. No one on Legacy played well that game.
Couldn't decide.
I'm not going to single one person
team
out. Yeah, just send everyone down.
But no, they did not have an impressive match at all there. Just, I couldn't tell what they were trying to do with their draft, and their early game just looked like it was completely outplayed by Sin.
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, I feel like teams think they have to be way more ahead when they pick a Elise than what they do. So they keep just running into lanes and keep forcing. And I don't think mid lane was a lane to force upon because they didn't have a damage threat on Claire. He was playing heavy CC. I think that their gank bottom lane was good. Jews read it and counter ganked. But with all the summoner spells burnt, they should have been able to revisit bottom lane a couple more times. And I think that that was actually the issue with the early game for Legacy.
Yeah, but they did not. And with that counter gank coming out from Jews, they over propel their bottom lane ahead, picked up a very decisive victory. And we're going to go into game 3. But before we do that, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, guys. And what did Sin do to turn this around? Because I feel like these are 2 completely separate and very, very different games we saw out of the teams. Well, obviously they're separate because they're 2 separate games, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, by definition.
Yes.
No, I think that we saw the Sin that we spoke about pre-game 1. It was the team that is like very, very aggressive early, looking for early trading. You have lanes that bully, so like the Cassiopeia into the Gallery is going to bully. Jace is always going to bully. Kennen into like either of those champions just is a lane bully, right? So I think it was they came out like strong early, and they were just like looking to press advantages in their lane.
And I think the most important thing is it spoke true to Sin's playstyle. It spoke true to them wanting to snowball early because Kennen is going to suck in teamfights versus Janna when it comes to 20, 25 minutes onwards. Janna's just, it feels like the ultimate counter, but they played the lane really well. They played aggressively. They got early leads. Yes, a little bit of it was sort of out of their control and a great play by Juves to be in the right place at the right time. But if I had to pick just one overarching thing, it was just their bot didn't fall apart like they did in game 1.
Yeah.
Do you think the bot didn't fall apart because of the Relic Shield on Zai? Do you think that had anything to do with it? Because like we should probably break down exactly what the Relic Shield's trying to do. It's trying to get more gold to the support so the support can rush Ardent Sensor. But it means what you're sacrificing is early kind of damage.
This is one thing that annoyed me, is you go Relic Shield to rush Ardent Sensor, and then Janna starts with a Rejuvenation Bead, which means he's going Nomads first, which means his Ardent Sensor is delayed. So
you're saying full cheese
what
or
is
nothing?
happening? Yes.
Full cheese or nothing.
If you really
Well, I
want to,
think-
if you really want to cheese, go Fairy Charm. If not, go the potions, because you get more gold overall by going Nomads, but you delay your Ardent by about 30 seconds to a minute worth of coin spawning.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done the maths. I think that
I have. This is something that I sat there doing because I
I'm not
wanted
gonna-
to go Nomads.
I'm not
first.
going to argue the maths then, but I think that going the Rejuvenation Bead gives you a bit more laning power. Obviously, if you don't have the potions, you have no health regeneration at all. So that makes up for some of the loss. But I think, regardless of their choice of items, I think the big deciding factor for that lane was Juve's early counter gank bottom lane, right? Carbon had a quick clear to bottom lane, and Juve just did his red, then his Raptors and blue, and then he sees the ward. Carbon doesn't deny the blast plant, so Juves actually gets into this fight. FBI flashes out early, and Cupcake lands a good tornado to try get the kill, where they don't get first blood. Juves is there on time, and then this is when like the power of Kennen sort of shows up, right? He does a lot of damage compared to most supports at level 2, I'd say. And it's really important here that Cupcake holds his Q to try to deny that E from Gragas, but he doesn't, so Juves picks up the second kill. They blow a handful of summoners, then that bottom lane can't just sit there safely and scale and just look to use their gold generation. They're just going to be in trouble because of all the pressure from Juves early. So I think it's a fantastic counter gank to open up this lane, and it sort of gets in on the front foot.
It's also something that's come across a lot when you see Elise versus Gragas. Most junglers, when they're the Elise, they don't want to be ganking where Gragas can be. So they need to be tracking where the jungler is, because that was just a standard clear from Juves. Yet they should have expected him to be there and just for some reason didn't.
Well, did they think they won the 3v3? Did they think they would win the 3v3?
There's no way they should.
No?
Elise is really good when there's numbers advantages, and much worse than Gragas in just straight brawls where it's 2v2, 3v3. At least in my uneducated jungling opinion. Right?
Your
As a support, that's
humble
how it
opinion.
feels.
Yeah, I think it's more just that Elise thought she'd get into that lane, sort of just blow up the first target. Maybe they
Then
can just kite it
bail.
out afterwards. But they didn't get that quick kill, and then they couldn't transition that to just winning the early fight.
Meanwhile, for Legacy, they really must have felt under pressure after going behind early in the game. So in that kind of mindset, what are you forced into doing then?
You have to stall. That's all you can do. I said
Stall it
upstairs
out.
that they were going to come into difficulties. At least they had very few towers left to take. There was still a bot out to take for Jace, but they were running out of towers to lose, so that's always a nice thing to have. But when you're behind, you need to stall and scale. But when you go too aggressive too quickly, just like Lost is right here, he has no business going near that bush. A team fight happens, and there's a bit of miscommunication here. Claire ults on Lost while Lost is ulting, so you lose the big benefit of the Galio ult. They then re-engage and try and make something happen here because they think, well, we've expended so much, we need to get something. When they could have just bailed. Carbon goes super deep. He's already, I believe, 0-3 at that point. He's a glass cannon Elise. He was going Sork Shoes, blasting one, and all sorts of weird choices there. The big thing is, once they make the initial mistake, they can back off. They don't need to then just commit to it even further and try and rectify that mistake, because it's just going to turn out horribly. And that's what happened there. They lose the jungler. I believe they lose Baron off that, if I'm not mistaken. And then they just lose control of the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the issue is just how much, I guess, disengage, or how much, well, they can negate the range or an engaged threat of Legacy. So Sin just have, the Kalista and the Cassiopeia, who just, play on the edge of, the danger zone really, really well. They just sort of kite back, they have the Miasma and the Cassiopeia petrifying gaze sort of thing to sort of just keep them at bay. And I think that's why that team fight looked so clean from Sin, was that Legacy couldn't actually get into the back line to do any damage.
Yeah, and we saw the Kled ult came in after everything else as well. I assume with that team comp, they were expecting Kled to go in and Galio to go on top of the Kled, but using Galio ult on Xayah it just screamed just Legacy aren't used to being in that sort of position when before the series, we were talking about how they scale after 30 minutes, so they should be used to that.
But what they're trying to do with that is save Xayah, because Xayah the AD carry should not be that far forward. The problem is that the AD carry also didn't know there were 7 people in the bush, or 8 people, however many in the bush.
5.
Five?
5 was the maximum that could be in that brush.
Interesting point you've made there. No, but so Xayah doesn't expect that. Xayah then ults, panics to get away, but at the same time, Galio's ulting just to save her. So it's the reason there's no communication is because everyone's panicking.
That's why you pick Xayah, though, is to self-peel. That's a big selling point in the champion, is she's pretty just self-reliant. And to blow extra cooldowns on top of her is, it just... I don't know how to phrase it besides saying it feels like they weren't comfortable on Galio. That's what it feels like to me.
All right, well, let's talk about their draft, shall we? Legacy sticking with their bans of Taliyah and Thresh. Also banning out Rakan in the support role. Sin staying with the Jarvan Braum bans. They've subbed into the Maokai as the third ban. I think the biggest interesting thing for me for Sin is they've gone from Docker playing Fiora to now Docker playing Jace. Another champion he's very, very comfortable on, and it seemed to work much better this game. And I heard the casters talking about how Jace into Elise is an unhappy matchup for the Elise.
I mean... yes and no. I think that that can sort of go either way, and that's sort of right now, at least, is that like, sort of feast or famine champion who either gets really, really accelerated early game and just gets a lot of ganks off and could just shut that Jace down completely. But otherwise, and what we saw in our screens was that she didn't get ahead. She had no resist or no items, and that Jace just did basically true damage to her on every single shock blast. So I think like in the draft as a whole makes a lot of sense. We see like the bans change from Tristana to Maokai. That's just red side respect. Legacy thinking that there's a chance Sin want to just take Xayah Rakan first rotation, so they just get rid of Rakan. And then I think the Jace is quite. Obviously, it's a comfort champion for Dockler. He looked really good on it, and that on that third side red pick, they can just pick it and then get rid of any champions they don't want to play against. And that was Camille Renekton in this case.
Yeah, and I think the Jace pick was pretty integral for Sin to sort of take control of that game. But I want to go back to the Rakan ban from Legacy and say that was probably the best adaptation they could make from the first game, because it was what really ruined them, was giving up Rakan with no feasible counter. So kudos. Thankfully, they didn't let Sin just sort of do exactly what Legacy did first game, but it means game 3. How are these bans going to play out? Because we were talking before the series that Taliyah needs to be banned, Thresh needs to be banned, all these things need to be banned. Like, it feels like they're just running out of room now.
Do you feel like the Kennen support is going to stick around for game 3? Because first of all, I'm a Kalista main, obviously. It's the greatest champion. She's the best. I love her. Hops around throwing spears, right? And the theory behind the Kennen Kalista combo is Kennen goes in, does a bunch of damage, and then you pull out the Kennen before they die. Now, if you're like me and you got fat fingers, what you do is you go in, and then they just die, and you forget to hit R, and then you get flamed a lot. Now, that's not what happened in this case. They were much more successful than I am, which is good because they're professional players. Do you want to see the Kennen support stick around, T-Gun?
No.
No, you didn't like it?
I liked it. I liked the way he played it. I think he played it very well. But it's a very niche pick. You only pick it when certain conditions are met, and I don't think that's going to happen again.
Interesting. Jish?
Yeah, I think the main thing was that, we saw Thresh, Rakan, Blitz, Alistar, and Braum taken off the table.
Yeah.
So I think we said upstairs, his two options are maybe Taric if he plays it. Otherwise, Kennen makes sense, just with that Kalista combination. So it may have been, his fifth pick in the pecking sort of.
I love it. I reckon main it. So good. All right, let's get some tweets up. Hashtag IamOPL. We've got a tweet that's just come up on our screens. A summoner spell that acts like LeBlanc's ult. Duplicate the last ability used and then put it on the ability's cooldown. That's from Datop Laner. Or Dato Planer, depending on how you want to pronounce that.
I'm going Dato Planer.
Dato Planer? Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I'm going to say, since he's a top planer, he's playing Malphite and just wants to zip around with 2 Malphite ultis, and that would be ridiculous. No, not a fan.
You're not a fan?
No.
Jish, thoughts?
I think it sounds really, really broken. So yeah, let's try it. See what happens.
All right, hashtag IamOPL. Let us know your tweets and about new summoner spells that we should add to the game. This is from Dagan Kun. I'd add a circle AoE summoner that just kills lane minions, 8-minute cooldown. Well, I mean, an 8-minute cooldown.
What's the range?
What's the range?
Is it global?
Yeah, it's a global. It kills every minion in the
No,
globe.
no, not the. I mean, where can you cast it from too?
I see.
Because I assume the circle would be like. I don't know how to explain it, but not
like
very
a Gangplank
big,
ulti. You're saying,
right?
is it a Gangplank ulti or is it
just
an
someone
AoE
who
around
can't
you?
last hit, who's just like, we make this game way easy for me every 8 minutes if I could just kill the minions without having to last hit them.
You're waiting for a whole lane to push into your long lane, and you just kind of like summon a spell and then run away. Yeah, get that farm.
I don't know that one. Yeah, that one doesn't sound as fun as the previous one.
I don't think it can. I don't think it could be a global. I think it's busted if it's a global.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking.
You
Just
can
a
troll
split pusher
people.
just off on his own, and then he sees bots being pushed in. It's like, not today.
No, you're just a troll who like steals your top laner's farm then or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I do that. I want the summoner spell. I want the summoner spell. I'd be like, I'm just roaming from mid. I'll take the minions. Thank you. Run back to my lane. Yeah, rinse and repeat. I like that one now. Let's bring that one in.
You've unlocked the worst use of this ability.
All right,
possible.
Twitter us, hashtag IamOPL, or let us know in Twitch chat which summons or what new summoner spell would you add to the game. But right now, our series, Sin v Legacy, is tied up 1 apiece, so it's time for us to get into our third game. Let's check out some highlights from game number 2.
FBI, he's forced to flash and everyone piles on in. Tornado comes out. Big body
body bomb from Juice takes away First Blood, and now he's hunting down Lost as well. One more attack should be able to kill him. Rogue is throwing shurikens into his face, and Lost might just get out. No, he doesn't. The Fat Man jumps back in, gets the second kill for Sid. Juice somehow still alive. Claire will get dismounted through his ultimate. They turn onto the Snake Lady, petrifies one. Carbon will fall to Rogue, but he may sacrifice his life for this one. Good stun coming out of the cannon. Ooh, jumps on top of Carbon. Is this a solo kill? Captain on Captain. Repel does come out. Rogue jumps in, will take down the Spider himself. Claire needs to uppercut his way back out. Flashball from Claire. Locks down two. The charge does come out from Tally. He's on top of the AD carry himself, but Rogue stuns him up. There's the first reset from Janna, healing up the rest of the team, but Karma's jumped in. Will be the first casualty, and Donkler almost single-handedly deletes the entire team. 3 members get gazed by the miasma coming out of the Cassiopeia. Claire will fall as well. But with FBI and Donkler hitting the Nexus, this should be game 2 falling to Sid. They tie up the series and take us to the final match to decide this game.